your host, Mimosa,
and co-host, Kareem.
Welcome to Sometimes We're Boujee and Sometimes We Hood, to healing, navigating grief. It's a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembrance.
Hello. Hey, welcome everybody.
What's going on? It's Man DeLeon, the Al Capone of the microphone, and I am honored to be on Sometimes We Boujee, Sometimes We Hood, co-hosting with my man Kareem, the co-host, cousin Kareem, the co-host.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing out there? Yes, indeed. Come on, let's go. All right. Yeah. How you doing, man, DeLeon? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm blessed to be here. I'm honored to be, a part of this beautiful thing that you and Mimosa got going on. So yeah.
Thank you.
And then we both have another guest, but I guess he'll be here shortly. So when he can make it, we'll get him on. And we'll
work it. Yeah, we'll work it. Yes, indeed. Oh, man. It's a beautiful day. How's it on your side of the world? I know on my side of the world, it's the same,
You said it's the same. I don't even know what the same is. I mean, I can tell you what's going on here, though. I'm in Atlanta. It's actually hot today.
Okay.
No surprise in Atlanta. It's like 89, 88,
Woo. I don't know about that no more.
It rained last night, like throughout the night, and then the sun came out. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about that, man. I don't know about that. It's like a cool 83, something like that. A lot of breeze. So
like all the time.
Man.
Cool 83, got a nice breeze and everything.
Yeah, exactly, man. Gonna go to the beach later on. Shoot, it's still also only 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
oh man, he said later on.
Yeah.
I hear you. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
For real. Man, I thought we was doing a hat thing today, man.
No, so listen, so just so you understand, look, so that was Jay being Jay, just being funny just because of the pictures that was on the flyer. Like we already had hats in the picture. Like I didn't, that wasn't planned, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a hat dude. I got hats,
Yeah.
So it was just a picture that she used, and then I guess the one she used, he had one on too. And then so he was like, "Yo, where your hat at?"
I know, man. I had my Kango, and I was just like, I was gonna rock that. She's like, "Nah, I just don't get one." So I got one, but I was like, "Man, it's too late to change the pick." So
nah, yeah. Oh, yeah, right. To update it, yeah. So it was cool.
We get that.
I wasn't tripping, but I got it. It was funny, but
yeah. Hat King, baby.
Right.
Shoot, man. I'm trying to find the list. This is bad. I apologize, y'all.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, like I'm saying, I'm the co-host of the co-host. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so for real.
I'm waiting on you.
Hey, so here we are. We gonna do what we do. It's gonna come out a little different this time, but normally, Mimosa does all of this. But we're here to talk about grief. We're here to talk about the pain associated with it, just the feelings associated with it, and just to let everybody out there know that there's no right or wrong way to get through it. There's no time frame. There's nothing structured to say how we deal with grief. But today's show, we're going to talk about the grief of being a father. Yes, the grief that comes along with being a father. It is a pre-show kind of to Father's Day. And so we're just going to have a discussion about the grief that us dads have, dealing with life, dealing with whatever we talk about, children, wives, ex-wives, girlfriends, jobs. I mean, just go down the line. She's gonna kill me because she sent me the forecast on the show, and I thought I had it, but apparently I don't. So we're just gonna throw it out there and do what she was afraid of. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna go out there, and just do what we do.
Hey, I'm here with you, so
Okay, I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
So she's probably listening around. She's gonna send me information in a second. But no. So I'm a father of 5.
Wow. Okay.
2 by my ex-wife, 3 by my current wife. It was a challenging time for me being a father because with my first wife, she pushed my kids against me. My kids are grown. My 2 sons were her grown. So we don't talk. We got a strange relationship because she decided to share. This is crazy. All of our texts and emails were children. So they had a one-sided view of me. Even though I was spending time with them, I was wondering why they used to come in mean mugging. I'm like, that they must have had like a bad day or something like that. I never understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the last, I want to say like 8 years maybe, like we've been estranged, like no phone calls, no texts, nothing like that. And it's crazy all because of their mom, the way she set it up. They grew up defending their moms. All sons defend their moms. You know what I mean? I understand that. But it was crazy because now they grown, but I'm just waiting for the time that they come back. They realize that.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are they?
Oh, shoot. 26 and 23.
Okay. So yeah, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah. They gotta go through that.
Yeah. They look right now, and I'm not speaking from the father. I'm speaking from a young man stage, right? And this is from somebody whose dad was in his life and did things for him, right? And I mean, and I looked at it later, but at the age of 25, even though I went to the service myself and came back home and all this stuff and was done stuff on my own, I was still looking at things like for some reason angry about things that I felt like maybe he should have done or shouldn't, maybe he should have spoke to me or talked to me about certain things, just whatever dumb reason you could think of, just to be angry about something, right?
Yeah.
At that age in your 20s, for whatever reason, right? Even though I knew better, right? Even though I knew like what the situation was for other people, or say, even my cousins, or just other relatives, or just people that I just knew personally, like and to know what I had, was something that a lot of people didn't have, or the relationship that we had. But the thing is, just like you were saying, a lot of times in your situations, the kids are, put against the dad or whatever for whatever reason, like because they don't get the whole story.
Right.
They get a one-sided story, and so they get that view, and you hear something enough, just like anything, you hear it enough, you start to just believe it, and no matter what somebody say, you ain't even trying to hear it because this is all you know.
Right. That's the crazy part about it. It's like I used to sell cars, and I used to hear the stories from people in similar situations, and it was like whoa, but like dads, like you said, in the military, they go away, they come back, and it's like a whole different story. And it's like it's a really difficult, and it's a grievous thing. It becomes, you grieve the situation because it's like, what could I have done? Or maybe if I did this, maybe if I did that. And then, as a dad, like I never had a dad, so like I know, like I guess hopefully he gets on. Like he doesn't celebrate Father's Day. I don't really celebrate Father's Day because I didn't know what a father was. And can you talk to that point? I don't know. Maybe you have a different perspective, on Father's Day. Because for me, I never had one. So I'm one of those kind of people who don't really like how you want to say, celebration or compliment. Yeah, compliments. So I don't like to get exhorted. So I'm just like, whatever, I'll do my thing anyway. So it's all good. So I just pass it off. But how's your thought? What are your thoughts on that?
So look, let me just get this out the way. So for me, it's totally different because I really don't have no kids of my own.
Okay.
Right. So even though I got some grandbabies, I'm a pawpaw, my wife, my wife's son, who had a couple daughters, and he's no longer with us.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Right. And so he passed when they were young, but so we here. But so I, in that sense, I'm blessed to have that. Like I have, two beautiful granddaughters that I, that love their pawpaw. But for myself, like now, like you saying, it's Father's Day, and everybody, you could just be somewhere, and everybody was like, they just automatically assume they see you, and they just assume like, hey man, happy Father's Day, and you be like, yeah. Because you don't really have time to be like, I ain't really got, anybody got time to tell that story. You just accept it, right? So you just
right.
Go, yeah, okay.
It's funny how that works though. It's like with the assumptions, and then you don't feel like this is a stranger or somebody who just walking by. Maybe it's some coworker, associate. Mm-hmm. You don't got the time to sit down and then break down the whole scenario. Like mine, like my whole thing sounds like a what was me story. Like, oh, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I
mean?
Ain't
nobody want to hear that. Like, ain't nobody trying to hear all that.
Yeah, and it's just like that. I'm just trying to give you context of why I don't, and they looking at you. I know they look at. Sometimes I had stopped telling people stuff. They ask me stuff, or they know my sons and stuff like that. And I'll be like, nah, I'm not even gonna go into it. It's like it's just not us. It's just not worth it right now to just explain. But that pain or the grieving associated with it, like me and most have been talking about for all these other topics, it's real. It's like for the guys out there who weren't growing up, didn't grow up with their dads.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like versus the people who did grow up with their dads. It's like, man, you had like, I used to look at them like, man, you had it all. And then now I'm getting older. It's like there's certain things that I realized that a dad is supposed to pass down. That especially like this emotional, like the emotions that men feel, like why people get pissed off. Like from New York, you see the Yankee sign. You've seen it, the Giants, everything like that, the Knicks. But like growing up, it's like somebody says something to you, you got one or two options. Laugh it off or knock somebody out. You fist the cuffing with somebody, But the people I know who had dads, they were like, hey, they try to talk through it. And then it's like, hey, I tried. Here you go. Now you laid out. Like, what's good? Now I'm gonna have to stomp you to make you remember that you messing with somebody you shouldn't have been messing with. But for the
they ain't always true though. They ain't always true. I'll tell you why.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
No, because you were saying like dudes that got dads, they they be talking calm. Look, my dad was a boxer, right?
Oh, okay.
My dad had trophies all over the place, right? Like, and he was a southpaw too, right? He was left-handed, right? So he had like an amateur record of like 101-1. Like he was nice, right? So he was known for, like it was just crazy, right? So
you got to live up to that,
right? So it was times where like, hey, he gonna, so it was different, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it wasn't about not fighting, So, but I that's what I'm saying though, like that's the whole thing. Like it's always a different perspective based on, because you think like, and just like you were saying, like even though I had that. Like you was like, dang, he got that, like, and not really, at times, because sometimes you have something and not know what you have.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you think I grew up in a house, you know what I'm saying? Like, And for a long time, like, you know, if you knew somebody that like grew up in an apartment or grew up in a different way, you know, or, you know, like you go to your cousin's house, like, you know, it was different than how I stayed. And, you know, it was just like, you know, you just looked at stuff different, like, dang, because that, you know, like they'd ride by, be like, man, you staying that big? I be like, that house ain't that big. Like, you know, I'm thinking like, I be like, really? That ain't no big house. Like, that's just my crib. Like,
your perspective changes as you get older.
I mean, that's how I looked at it. Like, you know, I'm thinking like, for real, but then you don't know from somebody else's point of view, from what they used to dealing with or what they used to looking at, or, you know.
Exactly.
So
no, you're right.
But yeah, and you know, like having a father, and you know, being that it is, and my dad is no longer with us.
Sorry to hear that.
So it's also one of those, you know, you know, it ain't about me in a sense. You know, it's like, so I do a lot of reflecting. You know, just you know, just with all the. But I'm like, I'm him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really I grew to be him in so many ways.
Yeah.
And like, if you know anything about, if anybody know anything about my dad, he used to go by Chucky Baby, right? Right. So he used to get dressed. You know what I'm saying? He'd get fly. You know, the hats, and you know, he would come home like, you know. Like, he come on for work on a Friday, he might have like 3 or 4 boxes with the hats, you know, a couple bags with the suits, you know, a couple, you know, shoes, like.
Right.
Like, he done spent the grip, like, and he on his way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a kid, I used to be shining his little boots, and, you know, like, because he, you know, him and my mom, you know, like, but I'm saying, like, he was known for that. You know, he worked in the steel mill, and he'd go to work in a 3-piece suit. Right, because when he get off, he got stuff to do. Like, he ain't got time to go all the way back to the crib. Like,
right.
I mean, so when you see me, like, anytime you see me with the hats and the and being, that's where I get it from.
Right.
You know, so yeah, it's that influence, and you know, and like, and if like, and it's like, for people that know, like, I might post something and they be all of my posts like, oh, I see you like your dad. Like, you know, they know. If they know, they like, yeah, he the one carrying that. I mean, because I got 2 older brothers and I'm the youngest.
Gotcha.
You know? And
so you got the collective like viewpoint of your pops, like in all ways and stuff. You've seen a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll ask you a question. Like me and Mimi talk about this. Melissa talk about this a lot. Is like the regrets of having your pops pass on. Yo, what up?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
What's good?
He made it.
Apologies, man, for being late, man. We had a tower down in the area, man. But I'm here though now. What's happening?
Hey, we holding it down. We got my man JQ in here.
Yeah.
We was talking about I'm gonna jump you in real quick. We was talking about you know, the presence of our pops, mine not being here, you know, Mandeleon's dad being in his life, but he's passed. And like, how did that really affect us as men, fathers, you know, the men, you know, on the instinct? Like, I was about to ask Mandeleon about, now that his pops is going on, it's like, do you relish in the fact that people look at you and see your pops? Do you relish that? Do you enjoy that?
Man, it's like an honor. Like, you know, like when somebody say that, it's like, okay, because you know, it's like, I wish he could see it. You know, like what I really kind of grew into and became, like, because like, you don't, like, I got pictures, like, you don't even understand, like when I say, you know, my dad, the name, like, he used to get fly and dress, like, but you know, like, he was like that old school, like, he'd go to the shop and get his hair done, you know what I mean? Like, and get that thing laid out. And it was a time where I was older, you know what I'm saying? and we'd go to the shop together. You know what I'm saying? We
Ooh,
up in there in the chair looking. I'm getting it busted. I had long hair. You understand? That thing was shaking like, hey, with the curls. Look, I got a picture. Look, I ain't gonna pull it. I got a picture somewhere. But look, that was me, you know. And I mean, but it was because that was that flavor, you know. It was just that, you know. I kind of like I said, I got that from him, and yeah, like now it's just like, I mean, obviously I ain't rocking the, you know, the long and the, you know, nothing like that, but the you know, it's just something that, like, yeah, I felt like, you know, somebody had to do it. Like I was saying, I got 2 older brothers, and you know, they own what they own, but you know, I you know, I'm the one that carried that on, you know,
gotcha.
like, so, you know,
It's weird because, like, in that same sense, like, not in that same sense, but in a different way, like genetics, you see it. Like, all my kids have artistic ability. I got 5, all of them, boys, girls. They all got my artistic ability, and it's a blessing and a half that we can just sit down and draw one day. But sometimes I look back on the 2. Oh, I'll catch you up, Jay Quan. I had to talking about, I have 2 sons, older sons, 26, 23 from my ex-wife, and I got 3, a 16-year-old girl, 10 and 7, about to be 8.
Congratulations.
Living with them is different. It's different than it was living with my ex and my 2 sons from her, because they weren't here every day. But to know that they have my gifts and talents in them, it's a crazy feeling watching them. Like my daughter, she's 10. She has my blood type. So she has like no filter. I have a little bit of filter. She has no filter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like lady walked up to her at Walmart and was like, "Oh, you're so cute." She was like, "Your breast stink." You know what I mean? You know, it's just like one of those situations. It's just like, wow, like, I want to call my mom and ask her, but she went on. I'm like, was I like that? Like, you know, like,
right.
Now I want to hear the stories here, because I'm looking at her like, how is she like that? Because I don't think I'm like that. But then I got other people I grew up with. They're like, you like that. Whatever your mind you say. I'm like, I don't see it that way, you know?
Yeah. Her filter will probably come in later. Like yours did. Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
Because when you're young, when you're young, you just don't know no better.
Children are the most honest people on the planet.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Look, that's why they used to have that show talking about children say the darndest things.
Right.
Because you know, you don't know what they about, you know, because we ain't, you know, they ain't corrupted by society yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They feel honest.
You know, they ain't been hushed enough. You know, they ain't be like, ooh, you shouldn't, you know, they ain't been done that enough, you know.
Yeah. But now let me ask you, Amanda Leon, do you have regrets not being able to, like, actually, probably you kind of mentioned in the beginning, like, do you have regrets or any kind of like, I wish I had, or, you know, like, if you were here, I could, you know, with your pops, do you have those moments?
I mean, all the time, you know, I guess, you know, it's just like,
wishing you could ask for advice, you know.
It's just, sometimes it's just having a conversation. You know, it's just a conversation, because he was so funny. Like he just, you know, like you talking about not having no filter. Oh, like we be walking somewhere, he ain't no, like we be in a store, like he just like he would say something and be, you know, like crazy, like, you know, like, or just like, say we just getting out the car, like we going to, like, you know, we go, it's just like back home in Lorraine, there used to be this spot called Flickner's, right? The little meat spot, right? So we about to go in there, you know, the little butcher spot, and we in the parking lot, like, he did that, you know, he want to light a cigarette now, like we about to get out the car and go in. Right? I'm thinking like, we ain't lighting now, like we about to go in. Yeah. This is me. I'm thinking, you know, I don't know, you know, so we rock, because the parking lot, we ain't even that far. We ain't got that far of a walk. so we go in, And he don't even want to put a cigarette out as we walk into the store. He just like, forget it, man. Like he's holding down like that. And I'm just kind of looking at him like, come on, man, you just walk and smoke through the trail.
You know somebody gonna say something to you.
I'm like, yo, what is you doing? He's like, yeah, I don't give a damn. Like, man, let somebody say shit. He just, and I'm just like, and then like he would see somebody from way back, some years back, and he'd be like, yeah, like some chick like they used to hang with such and such and blah blah blah, and he started. And he'd be loud, like at the store, like you might hear him 2-3 hours down. He was talking about who she used to mess with and who used to I'd be like, oh man, come on. So but it would just be those moments, like you just never knew, like it was just those little things, just really, because he was really just like you just never knew what he was gonna say. It was so.
How about for you, Q? How's your situation with your pops, man?
My situation with my father is better now than when I was a kid. I'm a product of a teenage pregnancy, so my grandparents pretty much raised me, and my dad was in and out of jail a lot. So I didn't really know him. I knew of him. I didn't know him, and he didn't know me. Like we would see each other in passing when he was out, and we'd be small talk, but nothing like, nothing like no father.
I don't know that dude.
It's like, I was trying to share now with you. Just dapping up your pops, like
I just like somebody, just like somebody introduce you to somebody at the store, and you just see him again. Be like, oh, I met him before. Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, I know him. He was at the family reunion. Yeah, I know
him. Yeah. A couple times.
He was a nothing about him. Yeah.
We ain't never went fishing.
When I had my first kid, and I took her over to see her grandfather, and we had a real man-to-man conversation. And this is, he shedded a tear, man, and he was like, "You're a better man than me, because I didn't stick around. You're here for your kids." So he's like, "You're a way better man than me than what I was at that age." And I had my first kid at 21. So over time, from that point, we started building, I would say, a father-son relationship, but it was kind of like, I'm not going to say father-son. It was more like he was a guidance counselor, because then I could ask him questions and we would have that talk, because he was like, "It's too late for me to be your dad. I'm not going to try to claim that, step into that role, because you're doing a good job without me being there." And he's like, "Maybe I wasn't supposed to be there because you turned out to be a great man." So those conversations, like Mandelion was saying, you miss those conversations. I'm allowed to, and I'm blessed to have those conversations with him, even if it's a 5 minutes on the phone, just to check in. And he'll drop a nugget on me and be like, "Hey, don't forget about this, or have you thought about this?" And then he'll be like, "All right, I'm good. I'll holler at you later." And I might not talk to him for like 3 or 4 months, but we'll always pick up where we left off at. So I'm blessed to have that relationship with him now.
Oh, that's a good thing right there. Because I know, like, some people they don't even have that. It's just like, I know people who like don't even know who their pops is, never seen him, never met him. Yeah. Then you got my situation where I seen him, met him, he jumped in and out of my life, influenced little few pieces of my life, and then jumped out. It's like funny situation. Like my dad went to jail for beating up a cop. So imagine that at like 15 years old, and then the influence that it has on a child. It's just like, you beat up a cop and you didn't die. It's like,
right. I was like, do we applaud that right now? I'm a little cross. Like, that sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
There's a hero.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like, and I'm looking at him like, damn, okay. Then he got himself out of jail early, because he's an attorney. It's like, it made the whole situation. Yeah, just make it look like a superhero situation, but it wasn't. Because I'm like, I don't know you. Like, still, like, I know you did all these things, but I still don't know you. So, like, it's one of those crazy situations. Like, you were blessed to have. So, you got, how many little people you got?
How many little people I have?
Yeah.
I have 15.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah,
did your I
fathered one, but the other 14 are from previous relationships. They were already here. They adopted me, so I adopted them. So they just stuck like that,
good.
man. So,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's good. That's good,
yeah.
man. That's good.
Yeah.
I tell you, little people, at some point, they start to ask the questions of like, why you did this, why you did that. And then I look at like my situation. There's some things that I know about my pops from just briefly talking to him. Like I was just saying earlier about my daughter having no filter. It's like I always start to sit back and wonder. It's like, do I do this as because it's your trait, or is it do I do this because it's my mom's trait? You know what I mean? And it's just like those questions.
Yeah.
I can't get answered, even though he's still alive. Like for Mandeleon, you can't. You know what I mean? It's like you probably never thought about those questions, and now he's not here to ask. You know, maybe moms can help shed a light, but it's like at some point, the traits that we have, at least for me, it leads to that grieving point of not being able to actually know,
right?
You know, and not being able to actually like confirm some things that about why we do things and why we don't do things and you know stuff like that, like why I walk with a bop. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
You know, it's just these little things that just come up. And it makes you, or for me, it makes me sit back and be like, huh. Like sometimes it puts me in a funk where I just don't want to even contemplate. I just change the thought. Like, I don't want to think about this. You know, I just ignore the whole situation. How do y'all feel about those kind of questions?
Well, you know, I always, as I got older and started studying human behavior, you are right. We are still, you're 50% of your mom and 50% of your dad. Up until I believe around 16 to 18, you start developing your own traits and your own characteristics. So a lot of things that you do, most of that came from your mom or your dad, right?
Yeah.
And then as you grow older, you look at some of the things that you like about yourself and you make those changes. So then you start changing your traits and your characteristics. And whatever you become from, I'll say 20 up until 30, now that's part of your DNA and you pass that down to your kids. A lot of people don't realize too, because we had these thoughts and these questions as we become older, all of us suffer from some kind of childhood trauma. Everything that because we respond to most of everything we do as an adults based off of how we grew up. We don't pay attention to that. We don't ever like look at the root cause of that until like now we have these conversations. We're talking about it more, and then we can look back and be like, oh, yeah, I wonder if that's because of him or that's because of her. And most cases, it is. And then we have that choice to change that. I'm gonna tell you, one time, I think I was down south for my with the summer with my mom, and I was like 16, and this lady, this older lady, she was like 17, 18. We was going out on a date. This is when Dead Presidents came out. Okay. And she got to the house like an hour early, right? And she said she was gonna stay in the car because she was studying for a history test or something like that. My mom came home. She was like, "Why you got that young lady sitting in the car?" And I'm like, I asked her to come in. She said she didn't want to come in. She's studying for a test. But I'm about to go take my shower. She's here a whole hour early anyway. I'm not about to rush. That was my attitude, right? She's an hour early. So I get out. I'm ironing my pants. Now, this is what I didn't know until this incident happened. I'm ironing my pants because I had like crease in my jeans. I like to be fresh when I step out. Like everything got to be fresh. Right? I didn't know where I got that from, really. My mom said, "Why you still ironing your clothes?" I'm like, "Mom, she's here a whole hour late. I got like an extra 20 minutes. I'm gonna make sure I'm fresh to death." She said, "You're just like your goddamn daddy." And I said, "I didn't tell you to sleep with him." And out of nowhere, I got hit like I was supposed to, right? And then, you know, I go on a date. I got a pack of peas on my lip because my lip is swollen. Right?
Like
then I go to my grandmother's house and I tell her what happened. Huh?
I said you was kissing like this on the side, like
oh, that hurt, don't it?
Yeah.
I go to my grandma's house and I tell her what happened, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you get that from your dad because anytime your dad stepped out the house, he had to be fresh, he had to be clean." I didn't know that at 16, so now I know I get that from him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, for me, it was different because it's something that I always heard, but it was like different because like like I was saying before, I got 2 older brothers, so it was always said like my oldest brother was like my mom, my middle brother was like my dad, and I was like a little bit of both, right? But and which was like true because like my mom cooked, like so I get all of that, like that cooking, and then the you know the real calm and the nice part of me, I get all of that from her, you know what I mean? But that not, you know, like not having no patience or like might be quick, like, you know, like once I get started, like, you know, it might be hard to calm me down, like that's Chucky, baby, like that's that dude, like ain't no doubt, because I done seen it in action, like, oh, and then when I'm you know check, I'll be like, oh man, acting like, you know, because like I said, my dad used to have phrases. He used to say stuff that I ain't gonna really say over here, but he used to have, you know, he used to say stuff that he'd be like, "Ooh, like really, like, you know," and it wasn't like a good thing, you know. But he would say that about himself, which means like that's what he really thought. Like, don't mess with me because I'm just really like on. I could be on one, you know. So yeah, it was it was definitely something.
No, it's just I always think back on those kind of situations. Like I had the same situation with my mom, and she told me that I walk like him, and then I was mad at him one day for something. Like he didn't pay for my martial arts class, so I was mad at him. So we walking up the block. And then you know how you got the sun coming from behind, you see the shadow. And so I'm like, I'm talking to him, and I'm like, my mom told me already I had to smile and all this kind of stuff. And I used to always get compliments on that. And I'd be like, man, shut the freak up. You know what I mean? That's what I'm like. And then it's just like that. We walking up and I see the shadow and we walking in step like we in the freaking military. And I was like, mother freaker. So I had to like double step to get myself out of step with him. But then while I'm getting back in step with him because it was just so natural. And I'm mad at myself, you know. And I go inside and I was like, what happened? I'm like, nothing. I walk like him too. And she's like, what? And you know, she's up here laughing at me. Like like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, you his son. It's not like you're not his son. You know,
you in step with the shadow. You in step with the shadow. You can't even break that.
Exactly. And I'm just like, yo, what is really good with this? I'm like, this don't make no difference. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Hey, but you know what? I want you to listen to something though, right here though. You hear what you said though? You hear like no matter what was really going on, like the good that you felt or heard, even in that moment, you still wanted to be angry, right? Now you remember in the beginning you was telling me about your oldest sons, right? Yeah. And how they had that animosity in these last few years, ain't really been this and that, and because of how they came up and see, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now whether you pass that down or whatever, because of, and both situations was similar, right? Because he was young. Was he young? You know, when he was born or anything like that? Yeah,
we broke up when he was.
I'm saying when your parents had you, were they young?
Oh yeah, they were young too. They was in like their low 20s, just like me.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying in a sense though, you know, it was just like that distance, like he said, you know, like he wasn't there, you know. Yeah. So, you know, like, you know, whatever moments that was that you were saying, but the point is, you know, you like that relationship is similar to the one that you had with your sons.
Yeah, it's crazy. I regret that part too. It's just like I sit back and regret that part. It seems like it's part of our culture. I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, again, that's what I have first wanted to get into. That's like kind of got off track. But, you know, with the culture, especially in African, you know, descendant type culture, it's like if the dad is there, then is it always good? If the dad isn't there, then how does that, you know, go with the aspect? Like, do you turn into your dad or do you try to do everything opposite of your dad? You know, to become the better dad. You know, it's like that's another crazy question. Because in our culture, it seems like that's either or. It's like, well, my dad wasn't there for me, so I'm not gonna be there for my kids. or my dad wasn't there for me, so I am gonna be there for my kids more than everything. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna be that dad that takes the kids to sports and do all that stuff, and you know, it's crazy.
I'm gonna say this for my brothers. When we became teenagers and going into adulthood, we made a pact with ourselves that we was gonna be better than our father. We was gonna take care of our kids, and like you were just saying, we're gonna do everything for them. We're not gonna miss a game. We're not gonna miss this, whatever. We did that, but I don't know so much if it's a cultural thing because other cultures go through the same thing we go through. We just don't hear about it because I know I got a white friend. And his dad walked out. I got one. You got to start somewhere, right? Gotta.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the way he said it. I don't know.
Well, let me clear that up. I have a few white friends, but I do have this one that you could have said he grew up in the projects too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you said.
He said his dad left when he was 5 years old. Him and his mom got into an argument. His dad was like, F you, F the kid, I'm out. And he didn't see his dad till he turned like 27.
Right.
So, but in turn, it made him not even trying to be a better father. He never wanted kids and he never had kids. Because he didn't. He said, I didn't want to become my father and walk out on my kids. So he just chose not to have kids. So that's still childhood trauma. This is how we deal with it, you know?
Yeah. Now, that childhood trauma is deep. It really runs deep. And I don't think that unless like conversations like this happen. Like how many times have you actually had these kind of conversations before? You know, I've had a few conversations, but not really about the grieving aspect of the other or the detrimental side of it, you know, where it's going to make you make a decision like that, you know, and have to explain to somebody or even listen to somebody explain why they made that choice. But it really, it's like a rewiring, kind of like what you were saying. It's like it rewires you to be, you say when you get like 20 or something like that, you know, you have your adolescence, you have your teenage years, and then you go on to be adulthood. I had two couples explain that to me, that we should treat our children, or we should understand that we're treating our children differently in those three aspects of their lives. Like when they're babies, you know what I mean? We treat them one way, and then when they're teenagers, they treat them one way. When they're adults, then they can see eye to eye with us. We can have a different type of conversation. I mean, that's why I think that Jeffrey Dahmer, when they told her that, hey, your son was eating people out the refrigerator. And she's like, no, that's not my baby. That's my baby. He would never do that. She's still looking at him on the infancy stage. She's not looking at him as a grown man. You know, she's thinking that, hey, you know, he's still my baby. He wouldn't do nothing as heinous as that. Meanwhile, they're like, look at this leg, man. It's dated, you know, prime meat. You know, it's like, you know, and then so it's these people, you know, but yeah, parents, we're a weird bunch of people. My bad.
I'm gonna tell you what I did with raising my kids, all 15 of them. Even because the ones that aren't mine, I still caught them when they were still young, you know, 5, 6, you know, whatever. And I would always
that's a feat in itself, brother. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. I always looked at how my mom would say certain things to me, and I was like, "You're not treating me like I'm a teenager. You treat me like I'm 5." And with women, they tend to always see their kids as babies, like because they never grow up. So what I did was with mine, anytime I had to talk to them, and I would always say, I can treat you like you 5, or I can treat you like your age. How you want to handle this? Because I wanted them, I knew that what I wanted was, I don't want to have good kids. I want to have good, productive adults, because you're going to be an adult longer than you're going to be a kid. And I don't want to have these problems when you turn 25. I'd rather go ahead and get this out the way now. So when you turn 25, you know how to take care of yourself. So I will always treat them at their age, based on their level of understanding. I never wanted to treat them like they were still 5 or 6, because their mothers did that. And I'm like, you got to let these people grow up. They have to grow up. And the only way they're going to grow up is by you being an adult and allowing them to make their mistakes, learn from it, and then fix it themselves. We can't fix their mistakes.
That sounds real good. I mean, that's not. And I'm saying, I mean, no, and I mean that in a nice way. I mean, like, because, like, no, I mean, like, what you said was like real, but I mean, at the end part, right? Like, when you said, like, that's how people, like, if it was just that easy, is what I'm saying. Like if
Well,
it's just
for
that
me,
easy,
it,
you know, to
I
tell
like this
people.
though. I'm not, and I told them if I'm gonna be with you, I'm accepting you and your kids as mine. And if I can't be in part of disciplining them, then I can't be in this relationship. So any woman who was like, well, you can't talk to my child like that, I was like, okay, deuces, I'm out. I'm not gonna have him argue at you. Because I had a woman, I go over to her house, I met her son like 3 times, and he seemed like a cool kid, but I go over there this time and they're yelling back and forth about him cleaning his room. And I'm like, why are you yelling with a child about cleaning a room that's in your house? And you're going back and forth. And this is a black woman. And I was like, I don't live like this. I can't do this.
How old was the son?
8. And he's yelling at his mom, but he's not going to clean his room. And she's actually having a battle. I could never have a conversation like that with my mother, my grandmother.
Oh, no.
Once you go back, that was a hand slapper. You get in a book or a racetrack or something. You was about to get
chop in the throat. Yeah, that's a straight chop in the throat. You yell at me, go ahead. Right. No, that's never what. Oh my gosh! Like these kids have liberties now. I don't know. They built different. They know they can call CPS.
Yeah. Look, see, but you know, I was at the point where, you know, pops, you be messing up, and sometimes pops all you do is give you that look. You be like,
yeah,
you be doing something crazy. You look down, be like,
right, yeah. Right.
Like, you said you know, you been clowning. Like, didn't I tell you? Like, you ain't even gotta say that. You like, because you already know what that means. Like, because everything, look, I'm trying to tell you, see, back in the day, man, they didn't want us to know that we had telepathy, man, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? you know exactly. Well, because you know what the outcome, he ain't say nothing, but you know what the outcome would be. Like, you can see, like, that belt over there, like, he ain't even look over there to the door with the belt hung off. He just, you already know, like,
yeah,
like, you already know what's next. Like,
now that's cultural though. That's cultural right there. You got it. That's cultural. Like,
that's
oh my God, like, you want me to call your father? And like the thoughts just start running through your head, and you be like,
right. And you see the outcome. He know the outcome, and you be like, no, we don't want that outcome. I'm gonna just go ahead and sit down right here. I get it.
Yeah, you know? I embody that though. It's like for me, like with my kids now, all of them, I embody that. My mom had these really long nails. She can't like see. We all got short hair, like, so I got real short hair. My mom could grab one hair with her 2 nails and you ever been pulled by your hair that you don't have? You know what I mean? So
no,
like that's it. And you in the middle of the street. And you getting pulled by your hair and looking at you like, what's she grabbing onto your skin? Like, I know you don't got no hair, you got like little peach fuzz, but she did, and she would just grab it and drag you in the house. And it was crazy because my ears are like hella flexible now because I used to get my ears twisted.
Yeah.
So when I had my kids, my older sons, I would just do like a bumblebee and I was like, and I would pluck them. Because she used to pluck people really hard. Like, she would pluck the adults and they'd be like, oh. Looking at her and they think about wanting to say something, do something, they realize that she might knock you out. So they didn't do anything. They didn't respond. So it was like my mom was my dad and my mom, you know, at the same time. But when I did it to my kids, they were just like, oh, you know, I didn't have to like spank my kids or beat them or nothing like that. You know, beat them at every syllable like Bill Cosby, right? And then with these kids, like I tell them stories, they were like, oh. Like I told them, like, you know, you ever get chopped in the neck? Like we watching Kings of Comedy. They're like, why would you do that to your kid? I'm looking at them like,
what you mean? What?
They're like, well, like it's their prerogative. They wanted to chop us in the neck because we were getting out of pocket.
Hey, it was a willow tree that was in the back, not in my yard, but the yard behind mine.
Yeah.
But they would go get them switch. You know what a willow tree is, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Where you go, where they got the little thing
Man, I ain't have that.
You go get a switch or the switch. I go and then we had so many trees in the yard, it just didn't make no sense. It was just too many trees.
That's why they had the trees.
It was already all kind of sticks that was all it was sticks.
Man, at the trees for no reason. Go ahead and kick the tree with your foot.
Like, man, hey, that tree caught on fire. For somebody caught that tree on fire one day, man, and
he's so happy.
It still survived. I was upset. I was, you know,
You were still standing, huh?
I was grown. Look, I was grown when it happened. I wasn't even getting no whoopings no more. I just like, man,
childhood trauma. You had a memory.
Yeah. He's like, see, that's what you get. That's what you get. All those switches. That's what you get.
And the fire department came and put it out for that thing, caught on full, because it was like somebody did something in the back of their house or whatever, and, you know, man, but I was grown. I was like, you know, I just happened to be over my dad's house, just happened to be riding through, and the fire department was in the backyard. I was like, what?
Yeah, see, that those are those cultural aspects that make it different.
Yeah, and that childhood trauma is real, man, because for a long time, we got beat with extension cords too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
for a long time, even after I was grown and on my own, if I saw a black woman pick up an extension cord, I stopped for a minute because I'm like, what you about to do with that? I had to think. Like I
don't want no parts of none of that.
That's right. I was like, I'm about to go plug. I'll plug it up for you. Let me plug it up for you. I'll do it myself.
Look, you don't want to be a witness to nobody else's story.
Exactly. I had a white dude ask me, why would you get beat with an extension cord? Like, was she trying to electrocute you? I'm like, yeah, for real. It's like, come on, man.
You know, you should have asked that white dude how many times you've been to jail versus how many times I've been to jail. That extension cord kept me out
that
of jail.
saved me. Yeah, that saved me. Yeah. I remember one time I was getting beat by my grandmother and my little brother. I think he's on this right now. He said he don't remember this story, but you know, because I was the one getting beat, you know. So I was getting beat and the freaking wooden spoon broke on me. And his grandma was like, "You so lucky that spoon broke." And he was like, "Hey, grandma, you remember you got those new black rubber ones?" I was so mad. Oh my gosh, that hurt so much more than those rubber spoons.
Oh, he was dying after he said it because she was like, "Oh yeah, go get them for me."
Yep, exactly. He got this mean menacing grin on. He's like, "Yeah, you about to get it."
Like, I already know what happened.
Oh,
I know that. I know them lines. Look, but they'll sell you out. Like, you know, that's like back in the day when dudes. That's why you ain't do dirt with certain dudes. You know, look, something happened and y'all go hide. Then he get caught. And they didn't find you, but he'd be like, "Come on, dog, they got us." No, they got you. No, they got you, dog. You don't even know where I'm at. He all looking over there. Oh man, look, they got you. Just keep going. Don't say nothing.
Yeah, for real. Man,
he don't remember that story, but he should remember that behind whipping you gave him after you got beat with them spoons.
Oh yeah,
that's what he should remember.
Of course, he ain't gonna remember that. You know, that was just another day of him, you know, dry snitching.
Yeah, getting back at me. The things I don't remember that I did.
You, so they stay off of me.
Yeah. That's not that little brother.
I used to get you all the time. I used to get you all the time. You didn't even know it.
but Kareem, man, you are so right, man. Because I do have like these conversations with my white friends, my Indian friends, my African friends. It is a lot of things is culture. And they would all say, like, the black family, and because we all Gen X, they would say we were abused as kids because they didn't go through that. And after I got older and having some of these conversations, I look back at it, I was like, yeah, I guess we were kind of abused because we got called all kind of names.
You know what's funny? Because
we got beat by the neighbors and the teachers.
Right. You know what's funny? Because I didn't know what CPS was like until after I was grown. Like I was somewhere
for real.
I was somewhere like, what's that? I was like,
that around when we were young?
They called them on the fans.
Man, I would have been in the hospital if I'd have been on the phone trying to call CPS. They were like, "Oh yeah, CPS." I'd be like, "My own phone, CPS." She would have took that phone, and you know, he had those long phones. I would have been strangled up by the time, tied up on the ceiling.
They would call the board.
I mean, because everybody witnessed something in their house, right? Like you witnessed something crazy, right? Oh, yeah. And then you know it was either talked about or it wasn't. like
everybody told you. So you know what's funny is that it's funny because I remember when Kings of Comedy came out and Bernie Mac did that part, chopping the throat. We were cracking up on the floor, and then it dawned on me like, why is this funny? Like we almost died.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the funny part was everybody was cracking up because you've been chopped in the throat. Yeah. But these young kids, they don't know what it's like to get chopped in the throat. Like Parents had to have the right amount of pressure not to kill you. So they practiced this or they did it before. You know, because exactly. You on your knees, and then he's looking at you like, you gonna do that again, will you? And damn sure you never did that again.
You know what other comedian was talking about that? You ever see that Lavelle Crawford?
Yeah.
He was like 2 to the throat.
These kids got it good, man.
They do. They don't know what extension cords are. They don't know what switches are.
Man, we got
damn near half of them have been punched in the chest.
Worse to get punched in the chest. Man,
girls and boys getting punched in the chest.
Yeah, y'all remember them green and red Bibles? We got beaten with those.
Man, I don't like those.
Man, I don't like them to the day. I don't like them.
I purposely stayed away from the red Bible.
Hey, them old school plastic slippers.
Oh yeah.
The ones that used to crack when they got old.
Yeah. The ones that they used to throw around. I remember they were talking about, like, I forgot who. I think it was Eddie Murphy or somebody said that, like, she would throw the stuff and it would go around the corner. I remember the first time I did that, I looked at my cousin. You seen that slipper just fly around the corner? You're looking down the hallway. And all of a sudden, you stand on the side. All of a sudden,
had a little helicopter. Had that little helicopter,
a little boomerang effect.
Like, yo,
these kids don't know, man. These kids don't know.
It's crazy though. It's just the stuff that we went through as kids, and then we don't. I know me personally, I try to avoid that stuff with my kids, But in the end of it all, to get back to the original topic, I didn't do it so I could have a good Father's Day. I just did it because I just didn't want it done to me. I didn't want what happened to me done to them. But then again, I look back and I said, if I didn't have all that done to me, I wouldn't have turned out to be the person that I am today. Exactly. But then still, in the back of my mind, I'm like, they don't deserve to go through. And I said, was it really? It must have been me, because I was doing that stuff to make them act that way, because my kids aren't nowhere near as rambunctious as I'm. Like these kids, they don't jump off the top of the roof. You know what I mean? Like we used to. You go in the garage, jump off. Like these kids don't do it. Like, why would I do that for?
Yo, you know what I'm saying? We used to make ramps. We used to make ramps like that. Like we ride there and shoot.
You don't mean ride your bike off up in the middle of the street.
Look, Evil Knievel. We was trying to be like Evil Knievel.
For real.
Not safe at all. It not safe. Yeah. It is not engineering perfection. And we drove off of that thing, broke an arm or a foot or something to crack the toe. Yeah. We ran into parked cars playing football in the street.
Oh my God. Come on, tell me about it. Yeah. We did that too, man. We bounced people's cars off the street so we can make. I went back to my block, right, with my daughter, and I'm like, I remember the street used to be so wide, and you go back, you be like, how do we play football on the street?
Yeah,
like cars on each side. You could drive one car down the road, and we thought it was like as wide as a football field. It's like your imagination.
And look, and run that button, run that little post route, and run right into the parked car.
Oh, yep. Denting people's cars. I said we used to bounce people's cars on the sidewalk to make more room. Like, why y'all parking? We play football. People walk in the house like, what this kid talking about? They're next, bouncing them, put them up on the sidewalk. They come outside looking at you like, we told you. We told you, blocking up our football field. What's wrong with you? But
I don't think, like what you were saying,
backflips. We used to do backflips. We taking couch cushions and what I'm saying,
old mattress,
old mattress, and then we'd be jumping off
mattress,
and then we'd be jumping off the back, the bumper of the car, jumping off the back of the car.
And we just flipping on it like it ain't nothing.
Right. Like I think about that now. Like it's old nasty. Like I wouldn't even think like.
Yeah. I
ain't even think of look. Now I think about like old cushion. Like, man, come on, we don't know where that. And it's been outside. That's that cushion. We got it from down the street. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I remember you said firecracker wars.
Roman candles. Shooting at each other.
Yep. Kids don't know what kind of fun we put ourselves in a lot of danger.
We put ourselves in danger.
But we used to make up games. Like it was literally like depending on where you live, you made up game based on like
what you had around.
We used to run around the house we'd be like on the sidewalk, and then we'd run, and we always did it at night, right? And then, because that's what made it fun, because you couldn't see when you get to the back of the house, right? so you're running around the house, and it always be some more, something. And then you come back, you're like, we would do races and stuff, like just dumb stuff, right?
Yeah.
And and then remember we used to do like knock, zoom and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, y'all probably called it something different. That's what we used to call it, But see, folks, that was a dangerous game too, because you mess around and get shot knocking on somebody's door.
See, the one thing we never like, I think about that now, man. It's like I want my kids to go outside and play, but back when we was growing up, there was no. I mean, there probably was child abductions, but it's not like now. And then so now it's like I hesitate letting my kids go outside and run and play. Like I want them to do the stuff that we used to do, but then I don't know.
You say that because I don't mean. It's funny you say that because I was just like. Just earlier, I was thinking like I thought it was worse back then when we was growing up, because it was like always like these, like it was always like some it was like always some mass, like I mean like there's mass shootings and stuff now, but I'm talking about like like when everybody was on milk cartons, like it was literally a big thing because it was always. Look, this is where America Most Wanted came. What was the dude with John Walsh? Because his son.
That was for all them white kids that was getting snatched up. Because they weren't snatching up black kids like that. Because
in Atlanta they did.
With that Wayne Williams thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this for my neighborhood. We're growing up in up north and down south. When I would go down south with my family, the block knew the whole family. Like everybody knew, and the block took care, because we had one lady, they called her Big Mama. She said she was in the middle of our block. And if you came home and your parents weren't home, you went to Big Mama house. And Big Mama knew everybody. So even up north, we had Sister Jenkins. She sat in the middle of the block and she was just sitting in her window all day. And if you did something, it got back to Sister Jenkins some kind of way. And Sister Jenkins told your grandma.
So every time you watch a Living Color, you like, don't say nothing bad about Miss Jenkins.
I knew Sister Jenkins too. Sister Jenkins on everybody's block. Everybody had
it. Was. We used to be outside in the summertime, and we had, I forgot her name. This chick I used to mess with named Lisa. Her grandparents used to be like, don't your guy go to school tomorrow? We're like, it's summertime. Like, what are you talking about? It's just like we running around playing catch or something like that, playing football at night, trying to have like a Monday night football game, in the middle of the street. We yelling and screaming. And she comes like, don't you go inside. You're like, shut up, old lady.
See, the funny part is now, right? I deal with that, right? I'll be in the house and I'll be like, man, they little kid, they be out here all loud. And I'm like, man. And then I go outside. And then my wife be like, what did you? I'll be like, man. I'll be like, they just playing though.
Yeah,
I'll be like, that was me. I was like, that was me. Like, and I kind of regret it because I'll be like, man, we probably used to be loud, like, cussing, and they be young out there, cousins, you ain't even cussing right, look, and see, and it was a problem. Like this just happened, like maybe like a month and a half ago, right? So. One day it was like on a Wednesday. One day I just came home from work and I stopped by the grocery store and I was just like, man, I'm gonna throw something on the grill today. So I grabbed some charcoal and, like fresh off work. And them little boys is out there playing football, right? I think it was like around spring break. So they was like out. You know what I'm saying? So they were just out there playing. I wasn't really tripping, I just, they ain't bothering me. I'm just on my little patio, I'm doing me. I'm grilling.
Yeah.
But the lady next door didn't feel the same. Like,
she wasn't having it.
No, like they somebody threw a touchdown pass, went a little too close to her AC unit or something, and Next thing I know, she cut around the corner with the sheriff. I'm like, yo, hold up, man. These kids ain't playing. So then some of the parents started showing up, right? And I'm all this in my backyard. Look, I'm just minding my business. I'm just grilling, right? I'm like, I'm just watching it go down, right? So, so they kind of look around, you see I ain't doing it. You see what I'm doing, And so they kind of talking back and forth. Why y'all? Well, they out here playing, you know, they going blah blah blah. You know, I'm like, dang. And so they got like, and you know, when he seen it, and I'm like, and so the other one was like, is they bothering you? I'm like, look, man, I'm just out here minding my business, man. Look, I always said was, you know, like because like any issue I had with them, I speak to them, right? Yeah. Like they did something in the front one day, and I was watching them, and I was like, man, and I seen them out the window, and something hit in front of my house. Like I was on my way downstairs. So by the time I got downstairs, they ran around the back. I go out the back. They like, yeah, man, we just playing football. What you talking? I said, man, look, I seen you, right? So I'm sitting there telling them, I was like, look, I don't mind y'all out here playing. I said, but just don't be messing with nobody's stuff, man. Y'all can do what y'all want. You know what I said? And they was like, all right. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever I talk to them, because, you know, I know what it's like being that. And, you know, and you always respect the dude that even come and says something to you respectfully and then left it alone. And then they see you again. They be like, hey, man, you know, they'll see you again and be like, what's up? You know, like, all right. Like, and that's it. Like, it ain't nothing. You ain't got to go scold these little dudes and this and that, you know. I ain't gotta be their best friend, but I ain't gotta go talk to them crazy. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't bring me in that. I don't. And that wasn't the first time.
Oh, see,
that they did that. I'm like, come on, man, these kids is young. I mean, and they young. Like some of them was like, and for real, they was. I would say the ages range from like 7 to 14. 15
kids just being
right. It just about like, come on. So they like 8, 9, 10. Like, you know, just they you know. And then, like I said, I remember that.
Like, we used to do the same thing, and now that we done got old, we look at it like we now we that old man that's aggravated by children. And I remind my uncle one day was like, "Hey man, he's 5. What you expect him to do?"
right. Like I get it. Like I get it. Like it's loud, but I be like, man, whatever, man. But you know,
like what else they supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
But sometimes you gotta be like Stanley, like, man, get off my lawn, get off my front yard. What are y'all doing? Why you going down the street? You don't even live out here. What are you doing?
Like, hey, don't be sitting on the cars, man. I just watch, dog. Like,
right. You be like, man, one day you don't even live. Cause look, the one dude was like, the one little dude was like, they was out there fighting. They was out there playing football. He was like, yo, man, he don't even live in his neighborhood, man. Like,
yeah. So then you got to deal with. See, out here, like, you know, like out here, I came home one day. I parked my car. And I had to go back to my car, and then I see these young teenage couples. His girlfriend sitting on my car with her Daisy Duke shorts on, and then he kissing on her. I'm like, yo.
On your car?
What y'all doing? Like, nah, don't be doing that on my car. I don't want. You know what I mean? I don't want stuff on my car.
Oh,
I know fluids.
They left residue. They left residue on your car.
Yeah. I'm like, what is going on, man? Like, my God, broad daylight. Like, what is going on? Like, why are you doing this? Like, go to a park. Like, go to your house. Go to a friend's house. Like, be creative with somebody. I don't know.
That's the difference between us and these kids today. These kids don't have any respect. We have respect for our adult people in our neighborhood. Like, we didn't sit on people's cars and do stuff. And then, like, if somebody was walking down the street, we would stop playing so that the mama could walk on or whatever. You know what I'm saying? These kids today don't have that kind of respect.
You know what? I ain't gonna lump them all in a thing. You know, you got some of them that know,
that understand that.
You know, because you'll meet somebody, like you'll go out to eat or something, or you'll meet some. I done met some, and I'll be like, and I'll be happy, like, okay, you know, they dang, okay, you know, because but then again, you know, I hear what you're saying. There's a lot of them like that, but then there was times in my life when I was young that I was that person, like, and not so much that I wasn't disrespectful, but I didn't know. I knew better. I knew better. Situations.
I knew better. I was mad disrespectful.
But you know what? At that apparent moment, I wanted to be a tyrant.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's a time we was on the train getting off of school, and you got all these people around.
I'm being for real. I mean, and I'm not mean like, and I don't mean like I'm really doing something where I'm kicking up dust. I'm for example, I played baseball as a kid, right? Like, you know, like Little League, right? So, you know, you start doing like tournaments and stuff, and and like for the state and whatever. And so you start traveling. So we went to this. So like I'm like from the Cleveland area, like in Ohio, but we would travel to like this is like this place called Barberton. It's like outside of like Akron. So and it was mostly not us, right? That was there. But the thing was, this was like in the late 80s, like when NWA just came out. and we, you know, we young, we 13, 14, you know, we got radios, you know what I'm saying, walking through the park, and it's mostly like they ain't used to this, what we doing, you know, we coming to practice, you know, before the game, you know, and we playing some NWA, some, you know, and you know, we was getting those looks. And that's what I mean. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I know what it's like to be like, and because it was funny and fun, and you know, we was young, and then and at the same time, yeah, we about to be a problem, and we about to whoop y'all on some baseball.
And just because you could, you did it because you could.
I mean, so I'm just saying, like, so I mean, you know, there's times when you do stuff, but yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, you're right.
So that's why I be lenient. That's why I be lenient sometimes. I be for real. I be lenient sometimes because I be like, I be 100 with myself. I be like,
I used to be that.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna be hard on like, you know, but just don't stay on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta grow. Something gotta happen in your life where you realize that ain't cool.
Yeah.
You know, so that comes with maturity. Like I said, I was young. I wasn't mature. I was just doing dumb stuff.
No, I feel you, man. Like I was saying, man, I did that on the train. We came home from school. We sat on the train, put our feet up. And you got all these old dudes, you know what I mean, standing there, their briefcases holding on, looking at you like, I know there's a seat there, but if I say something, I might get punched in the face.
Right. You know I ain't gonna say nothing to him. I ain't gonna say nothing
for real. Like, I'm gonna put myself in that danger. Like, I told my daughter, like, so we went to New York. I had to go there with her. I said, when we get on this train, when we get off this train, if I'm pushing, you pushing. So it was funny because she at first was like, my daughter's soft spoken, like, come on. But when we got off that train, she was knocking people out the way. I was like, I'm so proud of you, baby.
We like we hustling in the park. It's a crowded train. Like, hold up, you ain't even know that she's smuggling that action.
Yeah. I was like, and then she did it with the straight mean mug face. Like it wasn't even mean mug face. It was just like a no care face. Like I don't give a damn face. And it was just like beautiful. Like she snapped into that New York mindset real quick. I was so happy with her. You know.
That was a proud moment. That was a proud moment.
It was a proud dad moment. It was a proud dad moment.
Right. He was like, oh, he was like, what?
All I needed to do was just elbow somebody. Like, what? You know what I mean? I was like, ah.
And do a little say something.
Yeah, you know. But she stared somebody down in Brooklyn and they turned. It was a grown person too. And I was like, oh, did you see what this happened?
Hey.
I was so happy. I'll tell you, I had a couple of dad moments, like proud dad moments, you know. It was good, man. But she wasn't shit. You know, she grew up out here, so she don't know anything about that life. So but she handled herself well. I was impressed.
That was that New York DNA that you passed down to her. All you did was instructions, and she got it.
Yep, instantly. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, man. Yeah. It was beautiful. Definitely. But now it's funny, yo. We sit back and like, so now we bring that part out, those proud dad moments. I haven't had like living out here, raising all my kids out here. I never got the call to come to school. Like, oh, your son was in a fight. Your daughter's in a fight, nothing like that. And I just always wonder, like, what would happen if that happened? You know,
you know what?
Have you ever dealt with that? Like, I know how I would handle it, but it's just like one of those moments. Like the first thing you think is like, did they get beat up or they beat somebody up? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. All that goes through your mind, man. All that goes through
It's
your
like,
mind.
because you want to be like, you want to give them, like, come here, give me a hug. You beat them down, but at the same time, it's like, is that really the message I'm supposed to be teaching? But they can, you proud that they can handle themselves. I think that's the proud part, that they can take care of themselves.
I don't know if that's the message we're supposed to be teaching, but that does make me proud. Because the other end of that is, oh, you got beat up? I got to put you in the gym or something.
Yeah.
You got to fight like something going on. But I'm going to tell you this with one of mine. When I got the call and I left work and I went up to the school, I was thinking the same thing you was thinking. All that go through your mind, man. All right, did they start the fight? Or were they being bullied? Like, what's going on, right? And then you get there and they got both of the kids in the office. And my son was sitting in the chair like this. And I'm looking at the other dude and he holding his eye. So I felt that proud dad moment. I was like, okay, so he did his thing. and I'm gonna tell you, as they was telling me the story, what I didn't know was the dude that was holding his eye was being a bully. And he was picking on smaller kids. And my son at the time, one of the kids he was picking on was one of my son's friends. And when he had a chance to talk, he was like, I was always taught by my pops, protect the ones who can't protect themselves. And I kept telling him all throughout the school year, leave him alone, leave him alone. Today I just had enough. And he did what he had to do. And they were still like, well, we gotta suspend both of them for fighting for 3 days. And I was like, cool, you just come to work with me, because I can respect that. Because a lot of people can't defend themselves and they need somebody to stand up for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and even at this day, now he's a grown man. He's one of the respectable men. I can say I had a part in him growing up, like, and he follows a lot of everything that I taught him, to the point where his actual father doesn't like him.
Oh wow!
At all. Doesn't like his. He's like, you call this other man pops and dad, but he called his real dad by his first name.
Yeah. See, that's a deep part. That's a deep part.
Yeah. So it's a crazy moment. All that stuff goes through your head, but like I said, I don't know if that's what we should be advocating, but it does make you feel good that your son went in there and
handles business,
man. Like, because I don't know how I would have handled it if he had lost the fight. Like, I probably would. I played something out of my head, was like, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose, because you got to be able to teach your kids how to win and how to take a loss. Right?
Yeah,
Like, you lost this one, but you stood your ground. He didn't punk you, whatever. But you can't win all of them.
Right.
That was the only fight he had in high school, because after he did that to the bully, everybody else left. He became the man. Like,
that's good. That's good. I've been in that situation.
Yeah,
punking a bully. It's just like, I'm glad in some ways, but then it's like, so my situation is like this, right? So my ex-brother-in-law was like this 250-pound, 6'2" guy. I'm 5'4". I used to wrestle, and so this dude come up here talking about, oh, you used to wrestle? I'm like, yeah. And, oh, let's see if you can take me down. So I pinned him. You know what I mean? He's 6'2", I'm 5'4". I pinned him. 6'2", 5'4" guy, 250 pounds. I pinned him, right? So this fool talk about he want to go in the UFC. I overheard him on the phone. It's one of those situations where you look around the corner like, did you just say you want to be in the UFC and I pinned you? Like, imagine we would have done in a fight. Then I found that I said, have you been in a fight before? He's like, nah. And I'm like, you ain't never been punched in the face before, but you want to go into the UFC?
Right.
This ain't gonna work out well for you, bro. It's gonna work. You're gonna be a sparring partner your whole damn life. There ain't no way you making it. Of course, he never made it. He didn't even get past freaking training. You know what I mean? But I knew that already. It's just like, but I said, I don't want that for my kids. Like, I almost wanted them to get into a fight so I can know that they understand what it's like to be in a fight. But then I was like, nah, it's not. I mean, the way I grew up, fighting, it's like I didn't want that for them. But then it's just like, oh man. But I want them to know that they can accomplish,
Right.
So
I believe in some bullying. Some bullying is necessary. Like, you should bully your own peers or whatnot, because it does. You don't know who you are until you get into a certain situation. There's a lot of things that we can't teach our kids because we're not there all the time. Like we went to school, we had to go through that. We had a couple of fights in school, but it helped build us, right? When I look at my kids who don't they don't fight. And I sit back and be like, when you get into the real world, you might get in a situation. You can't walk away from everything. Sometimes you got to stand there and fight. But this generation is not built that way. And that's partly our fault because we try to do things different than what we did growing up. We want them to go through it. But then as they got older, I started looking at like, I might have made a mistake in this department. Like I probably should be a little bit more because they are, I'll just walk away or I won't say nothing. And I'm like, no, sometimes you got to slap the hell out of somebody. Sometimes they need
they need to get shocked back into reality. It's like, no,
they need
not happening no more. Like you can say what you think you're saying, but say it one more time.
Right, one more time. Say it one more time.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I told all my kids.
I
said the nicest thing you can do to somebody is to curse them out with a smile on their face. When you smile on your face, but they ain't gonna be so confused. You saying all these negative words, but you standing there smiling. You know, they like confused. They don't know what's gonna happen. The next thing you know, bam, and now they even more confused. You hit them, and then it's just like. But I had told myself that if I had to go to school, I want to talk to the parents. Say, don't just call. Like, where's the other parent at? Like, you got both kids here and me. I can't. Why? Because my kid was the aggressor, but where their parents at? So I want to know how the parents feel. I want to know how they teaching their kids. I want to talk to them. Like, put the kids outside. Me and the parents talk. Because now I can get to the understanding of why the kid acts this way. You know what I mean? It's like, because, essentially, like you said, with your son with a bully. So you didn't know your kid was bullying other kids?
Right.
That would be my question to the parent. Like, you didn't know this was happening? They wasn't coming home joking and laughing about it? And you were sitting out there like, it's not a big deal. Kids are kids. But now your son laying on the ground with a black guy. Now all of a sudden it's a different story.
It's a different story now, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, no, that's why it should be that the parents talk. Forget the kids don't know why they're doing what they do. And they emulating their parents said and do what they seen them do. Because there's kids out here who think, they in MMA. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to choke them out. It's like, you choke my kid out. Now they got brain damage. Okay, me and your parent going to talk for real. And it might go, furniture might be moving. Just let you know that. Right. Like, let's just do that. Let's talk like that. But it's the whole principle of the thing that is crazy. As dads, like where are we supposed to go as far as that level with kids? You know what I mean? Are we supposed to make sure that they're armed? Not armed and dangerous, but just armed.
Speaking of that, though, because I know we wasn't be talking about the grief aspect of it. So when you start talking about can the kids give them armed,
we went all off topic. But Mosa, hey, I love you.
All this goes together. It goes together some kind of way. It's gumbo soup, man. It's gumbo soup.
I'm just saying.
Man.
I just want to throw that out there. And we're a little bit over too, but it was all good though. It was all good. So, but
we definitely should do this again.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should. Oh man, we got that. Yeah. We've been advised that we should probably.
Yeah. But definitely, but like we said though, like in the beginning though, like it was the father aspect, and like you were saying, for those who are fathers, being as by Father's Day is coming up, and for those who have loved ones who have passed away, and kind of dealing with that in that sense. So, if you caught the beginning of it and you want to hear more about that, just play the show back. You get more of that aspect.
We start off on a good route. It went sideways a little bit.
Not that far though. Not that far.
Not that far. It's just I think we were just trying to build into the responsibilities of being a father, dealing with it, and how to be reflecting from our fathers or the man figure in our life to us being man figures for the younger generation in this other aspect. But like Q has said, there's so many things that the trauma that comes out of it leads to some form of grief in an aspect that if you don't really investigate it on and get to the crux of why you had that trauma, it leads to a grief point in your life because you don't know why you feel a certain kind of way and why you act a certain kind of way. And in that whole aspect, it becomes a determination factor. Are you going to figure it out, or are you going to just go on and just let it bypass and choose, hey, you know what? Hey, I don't care.
Choices.
Yep.
Everything is about a choice, man.
Definitely.
It is.
Choice.
That's the blessing of being a human, right? We got an opportunity to have choices on everything.
Yeah.
Some things you control with choices, some things you can't. But you got to make a choice about one or two things in your life. And that's going to affect the whole dominoes going to fall, whichever way you look at it, whether you make a choice or you don't. When you make a good choice or you don't, a bad choice, dominoes are always going to fall.
Yeah, there is no
down a bad road or a good road.
Yeah, because there's no handbook to this game of life. We're sent here and we're born, we live, and we transition. You know, and everything in between there is a choice. Either you're gonna go left or you're gonna go right. Whatever happens, and we have to deal with it. And that's just the hard aspect of it. But the thing is, whatever that goes on in your life, whatever happens, you have to have the strength to keep going forward. You got to push through.
Yeah.
You got to push through, man.
Because
this too shall pass.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the aspects. I'll say last thing before we put the outro on, but I realized, like, you know, I had some people whose pops had, you know, took themselves, you know, out the equation because they couldn't handle. And then talking to them, some of the dudes were like, well, one of the dudes, he was telling me that he had told him that I don't know how to help you get through life. And then the next day I get the phone call, you know, and it's just like,
wow,
that's a hard. Maybe I should have talked about that instead of the laughy, jokey stuff. But it's just, I think about that sometimes when I'm looking at my kids. Like, am I going to be able to give them enough, like you had said, Q, to learn how to overcome themselves? Because you ain't going to be there all the time in every situation. It's like, I think that's the concerning part for me is like, and maybe it is for our pops, is do we give them enough to battle out there, to overcome the situation, you know, because you never know until the situation pops, right? It's like,
yeah, you don't know.
But that it forms some kind of like turmoil in me. It forms some kind of turmoil, like like it's like a pain. It's like a grief that like maybe I didn't do enough. I wish I would have. Like you were saying that too, Q. Like I wish I would have, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know, did this to implement this portion of my dadhood or training or whatever. I think that's why so many dads are looked at as you're the disciplinarian. You know, mom is the loving, caring, and the dads are like, no, you're going to do it this way because, you know. But then hopefully your kids will not look bad at you, you know, for chopping them in the throat. You were just trying to protect them, you know, you know, from the future that they didn't know that they're going to run into. Because we ran into it. So why shouldn't you run into it? But hopefully it's different for you. But at the same time, I hope I prepared you enough. And me not trying to nitpick in. What is it? Like just babysit them all the time, you know?
You know,
I don't,
as parents, man, all we can do is do the best that we can at that present point in time because this is what we know that might be right. We don't know. But you plant the seed and you hope that it grows into something fruitful and it can multiply. All we can do is plant the seeds and hope for the best, man.
That is the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Well, guys, appreciate all y'all, you two brothers, coming on here, me the co-host.
The co-host.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him most of it. She probably gonna call me when she get back. Like, what the?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is not how she wanted this to go, but hey, we did it. Popped
we
off.
did it. Yes, indeed. Yeah. We're gonna have to do this again. We definitely got to do this again.
If she allow us to do it again, let's see what the other listeners say.
It won't be the same topic.
No.
Oh man. With that,
all right. On that note, man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Appreciate it too, man.
It was definitely great being on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If y'all like it, please like, share, tell somebody what you heard. If you like what you heard, please do that. I don't have the capacity to go through all the handles that most of does, but I know it's in there somewhere. But you can get back on with us.
Hey, well, I'll say what I normally say. I'm out of here like a breeze to the trees, and when I'm going, I'm taking all the leads. Much love and success. Y'all stay blessed.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
It's a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembering.
Hold on, I'm trying to end it.
It's a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembering.